This video is sponsored by Normandy1998 and Ash the Stinky Kun. Also, before we begin, I'd like to remind you all to do the standard YouTube stuff, such as like the video, share it with friends, and subscribe, since currently, almost 60% of my viewers are not. But with that said, let's get into the first part of What If May Took the Gym Challenge. Our tale begins not long into Ash and May's Hoenn adventure, specifically on the morning of the Rustboro contest. However, unlike canon, the group is not present to witness it. There are countless reasons why this may be, such as the Pokénav suggesting a slightly different route, one of their Pokemon needing more time to rest at the Pokemon Center after a battle, or Ash spotting a Dunsparce the day before, and wasting several hours as he unsuccessfully attempts to capture it. Nonetheless, the outcome is the same. Our heroes are absent for this contest. As a result, May is not given the opportunity to take part in the Pokemon contest as Janet's assistant, thus setting her on the path to becoming a coordinator, while in turn, Ash and Pikachu are not taught Iron-Tail for their upcoming gym battle with Roxanne. A further consequence of this is that the following morning when May comes across a wild Wurmple, she makes no attempt to catch it, as she lacks the burning desire to train a Beautifly after seeing Janet's, instead simply labeling it a gross bug and causing it to squiggle away in search for a new friend. From here it is only another day's walk to Rustboro City where the first gym is located, and thanks to being a day behind, they arrive on a day where Roxanne is free from her teaching obligations, meaning when Ash and May make their way to challenge her, she is free to battle one of them right away. Being the more eager of the pair, Ash requests to go first, with Roxanne asking if a 2v2 is alright with him. While this is no problem for the excitable boy from Pallet, it does pose an issue to May, who states that she only has a Torchic. Frowning slightly, Roxanne suggests in that case perhaps they should postpone until May can acquire a second Pokemon, though being the responsible big brother figure that he is, Brock calls this unnecessary, offering to go with May and help her find a new Pokemon to catch, while Ash and Max stay here, since he can see how much this battle means to them. Finding this to be an amenable solution, the group splits up, with Brock and May heading back down Route 104, since with it being lakeside and grassy, Brock figures May should be able to find a Pokemon that can make up for Torchic's abysmal matchup with Roxanne's rock types. Thankfully, it is not a long search, as when the pair stop to fill up their water canteens at the lake, they bear witness to a most peculiar sight, a Marill laughing maniacally while standing atop a pile of vanquished Pokemon. From the looks of things, it beat them all single-handedly, and is now reveling in its conquest, while clearly looking for new victims to add to the pile. Spotting May and Torchic, it then challenges them to a fight, adopting an over-the-top domineering battle pose, which unfortunately works to unnerve the little chicken, though all the same, when May tells her starter to attack, it loyally rushes in and uses Peck. To May's pleasant surprise, this hits, with Marill seeming to take a bit of damage from this, though all joy promptly fades when the water type unveils its counterattack, using Aqua Tail to turn the orb on the top of its tail into a watery morning star, before slamming the spiked ball into Torchic for super effective damage. However, as an experienced battler and breeder, Brock notices something odd about the amount of damage Torchic takes from that attack, telling May to watch out, since he suspects Marill's ability is huge power, meaning this Marill can hit twice as hard with melee attacks. Gulping at this news, May next has Torchic try Ember, though these are far less effective, with Marill using this time to close in and begin swinging its tail wildly, so when the second Aqua Tail strikes, it has momentum as well as type on its side, leaving poor Torchic looking worse for wear. Feeling a little discouraged at this less than ideal start, May looks to Brock for advice again, though instead of looking concerned, he gives her a confident smile, as he tells her the battle is far from over, and that type matchups can be overcome with enough creativity and belief in one's Pokemon. Nodding her thanks, May then tells Torchic to use Peck again, with the little fowl quickly closing in on its foe. As expected, Marill readies a third Aqua Tail in an attempt to crush this impudent chicken, though this is what May wants, as she tells her starter to dodge by leaping into the air and coming back down with a peck. Using its budding legs, Torchic attempts to do just this, narrowly avoiding a swipe from Marill's tail, then zeroing in on the top of the water type's head. Due to having already assumed its victory was assured, this resilience takes Marill by surprise, and so as it turns its head skywards, it can do little more than gasp, as it is struck right between the eyes, and sent crashing into the body pile. Letting out a cheer, May runs in to hug her starter, though in an urgent voice, Brock reminds her not to forget the Pokeball, causing the girl to quickly fumble around in her fanny pack, before producing a ball and lobbing it at the downed Aqua Mouse. For a moment, it rattles, as clearly, Marill is unwilling to yield without a fight, though after the damage it just took, it lacks the strength to escape, and so becomes May's first capture. When Brock and May return to the gym a little while later, they find Ash and Max waiting outside, happy but soaking wet. Raising an eyebrow, Brock simply asks, "Sprinklers?" To which Ash responds with a laugh and a shrug, as if to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, before flashing his newly acquired badge. Conceding this point with a small sigh, Brock instead encourages the group to head back to the Pokemon Center, with he and May swapping stories with the two boys over dinner. When they're all caught up, Ash, who is still fired up from his battle, suggests that he and May do some after-dinner battle training to help get Torchic and Meryl ready for tomorrow. Recognizing that she could probably use some more practice after the trouble she had just catching a Pokemon today, May accepts Ash's offer of help, with the boy taking on a mentor-type role as he as May and her Pokemon face off with Pikachu, Trico, and Tailo. Brock and Max also pitch in, with Brock sharing his experience as a Rock-type gym leader, while Max recounts some of the strategies he saw Roxanne use along with his analysis of how to overcome them. Together, the guys prove quite useful, so that when May goes to bed that night, it is with greater confidence in her ability to win. The next morning, May, backed by her friends and brother, returned to the Rustboro gym, with Roxanne waiting eagerly to greet her. As a teacher, she finds great joy in the idea of being the one to administer the girls' first gym battle, stating that no matter the outcome, she hopes that May finds the experience educational. She then brings out her Geodude, while May chooses her Torchic, a decision that makes Max facepalm, while Ash and Brock try to be supportive, cheering on May and Torchic. This encouragement gives May heart, right up until the Rocky pugilist socks her starter in the beak, making it squeak out a pained cry and give her a reproachful look, as if asking why she is making it fight another opponent it is patently unfit to battle. Trying not to panic, May tells Torchic to use Ember, though as it was with Meryl, this is highly ineffective against the rock ground type, with another punch almost being enough to end Torchic's time in the battle right there. However, being a loyal little nugget, Torchic holds on, trying peck at May's insistence, though this is just as fruitless, doing minimal damage and leaving Torchic open for an uppercut that has it seeing stars, and then spirals, as it is knocked out cold the moment it hits the ground. This quick defeat definitely rattles May, though all the same she brings out her Meryl, who grins evilly when it sees that its opponent is something quad weak to its primary typing, having decided to lend its power to the one who vanquished it. Then, to its great delight, May grants it permission to use Aqua Tail, with the aquatic mouse turning its tail into a morning star like it did against Torchic and beginning to wail on Geodude. However, despite the type disadvantage it is at, Geodude does not give up, driving several punches into Meryl's face and belly for each hit it is forced to take, though to its surprise, the water type seems to love this, goading it to fight harder, or dealing cheap shots meant to stoke its anger. Unfortunately for Meryl, due to the quad weakness, a few of these moves are all it takes to down Geodude, ending the fight right when it was getting good. In her teacherly voice, Roxanne praises May for making use of type matchups, then with a smile, she reveals her second and final Pokemon, Nosepass. Landing with a heavy thump, the Compass Pokemon initially does nothing, giving May the chance to call for another Aqua Tail, which Meryl lands, causing Nosepass to rumble unhappily, though this is about all it does, with Meryl making it back to May without any kind of opposition. In fact, Meryl even manages to get off another hit a few moments later, with this quickly swelling its ego, as this block of rock is obviously too slow to fight back, meaning it can enjoy slowly demolishing this opponent without any fear of reprisal. However, this is what Nosepass and Roxanne want their challengers to think, as when May calls for a third use of the move, that is when they strike, calling for Rock Tomb. At once, a trio of rocky outcroppings rise out of the ground and clamp around Meryl like talons, locking the Aqua Mouse Pokemon in its grasp, though this is hardly the worst of it, as now that Nosepass has Meryl trapped, it can unleash a powerful Zap Cannon, which strikes true for super effective damage, while also paralyzing the rotund rodent. The only benefit is that the force of this attack is so tremendous that the Rock Tomb is shattered, meaning that Meryl comes rolling to a stop at May's feet, battered but free. In a voice of worry, May asks her first capture if it's alright, to which the water type nods, its eyes alight with malicious fervor, since if there's one thing it loves more than beating a helpless opponent, it's crushing a spirited one and exerting complete domination over them. To this end, it rises back to its feet, looking to its trainer to instruct it, though it isn't overly fond of the command May gives, as she tells it to try Bubble Beam, since this will allow it to attack while staying on the move, so it doesn't get trapped again. Surprisingly, these prove more effective than even the Aqua Tails in breaching the Compass Pokemon's defenses, with Brock explaining to Ash and Max that while Nosepass's resistance to physical attacks is top-notch, its fortitude against moves like Bubble Beam isn't quite as impenetrable. As a result of this Bubble Barrage, along with the prior Aqua Tails, Nosepass looks as though it is beginning to flag, though Roxanne is also confident that one more Zap Cannon should be enough to take out Meryl, and so calls for the Rock Tomb setup. However, having seen this trick already, May has Meryl switch to Aqua Tail as soon as the interlocking rocks appear, thus creating a way out and preventing Meryl from being slowed down. Seeing this, Roxanne is forced to reevaluate, becoming steadfast like a stone, and waiting patiently until a paralysis flare-up does what her Rock Tomb couldn't, and locks up Meryl's muscles, with this being when she orders her Zap Cannon. Desperately, May cries out for the water type to flee, but this is not to be, as its legs remain frozen from the spasms racking its body. However, just when it appears as though all hope is lost, Meryl regains control of one small area of its body, its tail. Knowing it needs to act fast, the Aqua Mouse puts all its strength into slamming its tail into the rocky battlefield, with this being enough of a kickoff to send it tumbling onto the ground, narrowly avoiding the Zap Cannon, which whizzes just above its head. Then, a moment later, the spasms end, allowing Meryl to move freely once again, and seeing this, May orders it to charge, something the water type has no compunctions about after the indignity Nosepass just inflicted on it. With this fury to guide it, nothing can stop Marill, with it dodging on the pair of rock tombs as it closes the distance. Then, when it and its foe are face to face, it drives its spiked aquatail right into the compass Pokemon's giant nose, knocking it out and securing May the victory. In spite of her usually rock-solid facade, Roxanne cannot help but let out a little exclamation of surprise at this upset, though this is short-lived, with her soon returning her Pokemon and walking over to present May with her stone badge. Smiling broadly, May accepts it, though before she can go, Roxanne has one last piece of praise to give, stating she had a feeling May would be strong after hearing from Max that she is the daughter of Norman, though now she believes that the girl might even have the potential to surpass her father. Truthfully, May is at a loss for words at this, as she had never even considered the idea of her own strength, let alone in comparison to someone like her dad, since in her mind, he had always been this larger-than-life, unbeatable figure, though, as she now imagines herself standing across from him on the battlefield while her family and friends cheer her on, she finds that she rather likes the idea. This thought carries May all the way back to the Pokemon Center, with her only coming back to reality when Nurse Joy asks for her Pokemon. Handing them over with a slightly self-conscious laugh, May then goes to join her friends in the waiting area, where they are all eager to give her their praises, while begging for a debrief on what she was thinking and feeling during the match. Smiling genuinely, May begins to break down the battle from her perspective, with Ash, Brock, and Max chiming in at certain points to add thoughts, questions, and alternatives that she may not have thought of in the heat of the moment. Ash in particular enjoys having someone to talk about gym battles with, getting even more fired up than May, though he does notice that her enthusiasm has increased markedly as well, though he just chalks this up to having caught the battle bug now that she's seen how awesome gyms are firsthand. Eventually, May's name is called out over the PA, with the girl going to collect her Pokemon, before leading her friends into the dining area, as it's around dinner time. Feeling she's earned it, May then begins loading her plate high with everything that looks good, while also making sure to give both Torchic and Marill extra helpings of Brock's Pokemon food. Disapprovingly, Max tells his sister not to go overboard, since her and her Pokemon will get a stomachache, though patting the boy on the back, Ash tells him to go easy on May, since nothing works up an appetite like a tough gym battle. Smiling at her friend and sticking her tongue out at her little brother, May then proceeds to dig in, while encouraging her Pokemon to do likewise, since after all their hard work today, they deserve a super yummy dinner. Not to mention, they need to keep their strength up, since first thing tomorrow, they're heading for Juford Island, and their second badge. And that's where we'll leave things. What adventures lie in store for May and the gang on the way to Juford Island? Can she pull off a back-to-back win against Brawly? And how will her greater battle focus affect Ash as both a companion and a rival? Find out as the journey continues.